You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Welcome to the Brock and Dalby Podcast. If you listen to our radio show, thanks for following. If you're just stumbling across us, hello.
I don't know how you got here. There's a very specific number of steps that would have led to it, but we're glad to have you.
Yeah, we got a podcast now, so every day after the show, we're going to be uploading these. We'll have some exclusive podcast content on here. And yes, we can even swear sometimes. Shit.
Oh,
I did it.
But that was the one. We get one per episode, so I guess you get it. I will say, just like if you're listening to our show, you can be part of the podcast anytime with our 24/7 voicemail that we call the BAD line, the Brock and Dalby line. 1-833-854-2233. If you ever hear anything on the podcast you want to chime in on, or if you think that you could be better than us at the podcast, all of this is available too.
Like and subscribe.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I have a question, but I don't know how to word it.
Okay.
So maybe 762-555. What is something that everybody looks absolutely stupid trying to do when they're angry? Maybe that's the question. Because I don't know about anyone else. I'm already hating the birds once again. Like they came back too early. Spring hasn't even started and they're already back.
Right.
On the weekend, they're
just running their dumb little mouths.
My girlfriend had the window open and it was like 5 a.m. on Saturday. And I hopped out of bed and we have like one of those crank windows, but it's not the handle. It's like the little knob.
Oh, God.
So I was so mad, and I closed the window, and I come back to bed, and Courtney's laughing at me, and I'm like, "What's so funny?" Like, oh, I'm all annoyed. And she's like, "You have no idea how funny it is to watch someone try and close a window with that little knob." Because, I mean, I thought
Trying to be angry.
Yeah, I thought about it. Like, if you have an actual window that you can slam or slide shut,
Sure.
you can have a little bit of dramatic effect to it.
Even if you've got the handle ones, like trying to like wind it in, like
Just sit there with like 2 fingers and you're like, "Oh, these stupid birds."
it just doesn't convey the same emotion. You know, it's even with like with doors, like, oh God, there's nothing better than like slamming a good door to let someone know how you feel. But if you've got like a sliding door, like a screen door, and you're just like, this isn't the same.
I disagree. I think you can do the same with a sliding door. I'd say you can't do the same with beads, though.
The beaded curtain. I don't know, man. You get the arms flowing through there.
Actually, yeah,
the beads start flying and smacking off the walls and stuff like that.
But you just look ridiculous, you know?
Absolutely.
Like,
No, it's hard to take you seriously, for
I
sure.
think one of the ones is in anyone who had them can attest to this, is having the windows in your car now, not being able to crank the windows down. If you're angry, it doesn't come off as well. Like, if you're trying to give someone the gears in traffic, like, you used to be able to crank down the window. Be like, "Hey, give me a piece of your mind," versus now you're like...
The button is for sure the worst. Power windows, there's no emotion behind it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I would even argue I couldn't take you seriously if you were like angrily cranking down old school
The
windows.
emotion comes through a little bit better, I feel
I
like,
understand that you're mad, but you also look like a Muppet.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
You look like Kermit the Frog.
I just feel like after you get in an argument with someone now, rather than cranking it back up, you're just sitting there and it's... and you're just sitting there in your own shame,
you're just looking at each other going like, the fight's over, I guess. But have a good day. Bye.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got a friend of the show, Tracy, on the phone. What's one of those moments for you?
That you used to be able to, like, slam the phone down on the boyfriend when he was being a real dick on the phone. And it's just not the same.
Doesn't have the same oomph anymore, eh?
The little red button.
Yeah.
The
person on the other end can't tell how hard your finger pushed your screen.
Oh, yeah. You can tell I'm old because I remember the old phone just slamming it down.
And if you were on the other side of it, you felt it. Like, you could hear that moment of impact before the line cut. You're like, oh, no.
These are the small things in our society that are going wrong, you know?
Oh, yeah. He did not call back and say, oh, did you mean to hang up on me? Because he knew.
He knew. Even, like, a lot of kids will never get that because I don't even think a lot of people have home phones anymore and stuff. And
this is what we need. We need Apple and Android to come together. Give me the green button for dial, the red button for hang up, and then, like, another, like, angry button.
For
angry
slam?
Up that just plays a sound effect in the person's ear like you slammed it on the receiver.
And I mean, even cell phones have changed so much that at least when you had the flip phone, you could do the click. Like, you know what I mean?
Snap it
shut. You could snap it back on someone.
But now it's the soft pad of your finger. Just like tap it. This is the sound. This is angry. It's not the same.
I mean, you can smash your phone, but that's basically going to cost you like $150.
Yeah.
You want to do it. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I've ever been so angry that I wanted to cost myself money.
And I mean, even like when texting first came out, you could still aggressively text someone too with like T9 and stuff and hear the buttons mashing and stuff.
Yeah.
Now you don't hear anything, you know?
No, yeah, it's just soft. Like if you meet somebody who's still got their text ticks on, like like they're a psychopath. Like, why did you leave that on?
How many poor guys out there are clueless as to not know that their gal pals are upset with them because they're not hearing the click anymore?
They're not getting the context clues of how angry the person in the room is with
You know
them.
what? This may be a biased opinion as a man, but I'm just saying, ladies, if you think that your guy doesn't get what's going on, I'm just saying this might be part of the problem.
No. If you think your guy doesn't get what's going on, yes, you're 100% right. We have no idea.
Yeah, that's true.
Please just tell us. We will fix it, but we are dumb.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast. You know those BuzzFeed quizzes that are so much fun? Yeah, that's not what this is. It's the quiz with Brock and Dalby.
All right, it's Monday, which just means it's time to play the quiz where we usually test Dalby's music knowledge or lack thereof.
Stop saying that. That's just mean and hurtful.
It's still music related, but today for the quiz, we're doing music production companies. You know, before a movie starts, they'll have the companies and all their little sounds and stuff. Yeah.
There's like the intro that the company that made the movie or is distributing the movie will play. Like I said, like the Marvel, like the comic book. I don't know if you have this one, but that's the only one I can think of.
You should be able to figure out a few of these. I think some of these are going to be tough, but...
oh, you think so?
We'll start off with this. If you don't get this one,
oh boy,
you seriously need to just go home today.
Okay.
First one.
Oh, it's the Lion. It's the casino. MGM.
There you go.
The MGM Lion.
The casino.
That's
the casino.
Brother.
Your gambling habits are sneaking up on you again, aren't they?
Nobody asks how you get the point. Just did you get it, all right?
One for one. All right. Next one here.
Oh, that's, or what is it now? It's 21st Century Fox.
Is that what it is?
It used to be 20th Century Fox, but then we hit the year 2000.
Did they change it?
I'm pretty sure it's 21st Century Fox.
I'll give you the point. I don't know if they changed it or not.
I feel like it's changed.
All right, we're 2 for 2 here. See, you're doing good.
Okay.
You're doing good.
Those are the big two, though. Now you're going to get into the small ones.
This one's in a lot of movies. Come on.
Is this...
Dun, dun.
Stop it. Is this Paramount? Is this the Mountain?
Oh.
It's not Paramount?
It is not Paramount. It is the world. It's Universal.
Oh, no.
That one's Universal Studios.
Yeah, okay, all right.
All right, this one here, I mean, there's a lot of like DC movies used to use this.
Oh, it's... Buddy, I'm telling you right now, I would not have gotten it if you hadn't said that. That's Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got it in a million years. The Warner Brothers in my head still has the bump, 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 like the Animaniacs.
Oh, yeah. hey, well, you're 3 for 4 right now, so we're doing all right.
I'm mad I didn't get Universal.
Let's see if you get this one here.
Oh, the fishing guy in the moon.
The fishing guy
in the moon
is correct.
Shrek. DreamWorks.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
If it doesn't make that little bloop sound of the fish, I'm screwed.
Big ding for you right there, buddy. See, you know more than you thought.
Oh my God.
All right, and finally, if you don't get this one right,
Marvel.
I will shame you.
Oh, okay.
Based on something that you love. All right.
Oh no.
So here we go.
What it's is it pronounced Dick or is it Deek? D-I-C?
No.
It's the end of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Well, what are you saying?
Oh no, that's the star one.
What is it, dude? Come on, you're a big Simpsons guy. You got to know this one.
Buddy, I haven't watched Simpsons in 7 years. No, Deke is like the old ABC movies one.
You got nothing?
Like I know exactly what it is. It's the theater screen. I don't know.
Gracie Films.
What is it? Shh. No. What's it called?
Gracie Films. Gracie.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've never paid attention to the name of the company.
For a guy who quotes The Simpsons as much as you do.
Shame.
Buddy, I'm not taking your shame bell. First of all, I only got... Oh,
Wait.
Don't you shush me.
No, keep going. Sorry.
I can see your hand on the button. There is no shame in that. I bet there's not one Simpsons fan listening right now that knows the name of that company.
I guarantee you every Simpsons fan knows the name of that.
You didn't know before you looked it up. You looked me in the eye. Shh. Liar. 4 out of 6 was good.
This is the Brock and Delby Podcast.
I have a question that I want to ask you based on something that I saw in the Tim Hortons drive-thru on the way to work today.
Okay.
At what point does the flag in your car need to come down? At what point does the car flag become disrespectful?
You're talking about like those little ones that people have and they roll up their window and never roll their window down and keep a flag on it?
I saw one this morning that I'm fairly certain, I want to say like 86% certain, was a Canadian flag at one point. But it is now just rips and tatters. It's red and white fabric. There's no part of the leaf still attached to this flag.
I feel like a lot of people would find that disrespectful, but then I don't even know because there's people in my neighborhood who have actual like flag poles on their property and like they just leave it out all year long and the things are just tattered and beaten up, which I do feel like, I don't know, there is a little bit of disrespect there.
Honestly,
but,
I get what you're trying to do, right? You're a proud patriot. You're proud of this country. You want to fly the flag, but at some point, you have also taken on a responsibility. Like, I would not fly a flag at my house. I love Canada, but God, that feels like it should be a lot of work.
Well, dude, even the ones in the car, it's like you're just committing to never rolling down that window.
Imagine you got a kid that always sits in like the back and the passenger side, and you just told that kid, it's like, I don't care how hot you ever get, you're screwed.
Dude, I remember in like the early 2000s, the Leafs were in the playoffs, and we stumbled upon a guy selling flags and blankets in a parking lot.
Perfect.
Which sounds always creepy, right? But I got one of the Leafs ones, and we put it up in the back, and then I didn't realize that you couldn't roll down the window. We were driving on like the 401 and I rolled down the window and like bye flag. And I couldn't fathom at like 7 years old on why the flag disappeared. Like,
the best is that someone else somewhere tells that same story from the other perspective of one day I was on the 401 and a Leafs flag hit my windshield and I have no idea where it came from.
Some dude has more of a disdain for the Leafs than he ever should because of that.
The Brock and Delby Podcast.
The Brock and Delby Podcast.
I got to see some family who I hadn't seen in a long time.
Always good.
My cousins are just... I haven't seen them since they were kids.
Damn.
And my one cousin came up to me and he goes, he's 18 now. And he goes, hey man, you got any weed? And I looked at him, I'm like, what in your mind makes you think that I smoke the devil's lettuce? And he goes, well, you're wearing a toque inside. And I was like,
that was it?
I guess she got me? Like, is that like a telltale sign on how to spot a stoner?
I have no idea. I haven't smoked weed on a regular basis since I was in college, but at the same time, I wear a toque indoors every winter. So have I been given the wrong message to people?
Well, I feel like it's like maybe there's like 2 or 3 types of people that wear toques inside. It's like stoners, hipsters,
sure,
and bald dudes.
Ow.
That's it, though, right?
Like, you're right, but it still doesn't feel good to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, I just love that he looked across the room. He's like, oh, Cousin Brock's got a toque on.
He's a burnout.
I'm going to talk to that guy.
Yeah. That guy most definitely rips the Chiba. Yeah. But
I was going to say, when you were like, what would make you that? I was like, I don't know, maybe he's heard the show once or twice.
I literally haven't seen the kid since like I was 18.
Damn, bold first shot for him to come over.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real power move.
So obviously we partook in a little fire meeting. But
well, sure, as one would.
I was wondering, 762-555, what are some signs, or how can you spot a stoner, rather?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How can you Where's Waldo a stoner out of the crowd kind of thing, you know?
What's the standout trait?
Obviously, like, you know, the red eyes.
That's a big one
the
for
smell,
sure.
right?
Smell, even like if you hear, sometimes you can hear it, right? Like you hear someone talking from across the room and you just, from the way they're speaking, you go, that guy's going to have something for me.
You got a Bob Marley poster on the wall, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Honestly, like you mentioned the toque, if you've got kind of like the Rastafari hat with multiple colors.
Sure.
But you share my particular pigmentation.
Oh, if your name is Bryce and you have dreadlocks, then like...
the odds are good.
Right?
That you earn those.
If your name is Bryce or Kyle or something like that, and you've got a little bit of dreads going, yeah, it's
the
pretty
odds are
easy
good.
to predict.
The odds are good that you're holding.
762-555. How can you Where's Waldo a stoner? What's a telltale sign that someone's smoking the devil's lettuce?
If you're a Bryce or a Kyle and you've got that Chet Hanks accent, so to speak, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Also, you got like this weird Jamaican sort of patois. I think that guy might have some. I think that guy might be holding.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
While I never thought of myself as the type of father who'd have to drug test his kids, I'm willing to do just that if that's what it takes to find out who brought a joint into this house.
We're talking about how can you spot a stoner. 762-555.
It's so intense.
My cousin called my bluff. He asked me if I had any jazz cabbage, and I said, how would you know that? And he said, well, you're wearing a toque inside.
I just love the accuracy of the call out. Just looked across the room and went bang.
I love the text about people talking about backpacks. A lot of people are saying nobody who's out of high school or college anymore still wears a backpack except for stoners.
Yeah, unless you're traveling, like you're going through an airport or walking into a hotel. Backpack is either like... you're up to no good in some direction.
If you see anyone wearing a backpack going into a forest and they don't have hiking apparel on, you know what I mean? Like if they're wearing like a Crooks and Castles or something.
They got a spot.
Yeah.
They're headed somewhere very specific.
And they've got some glassware in that backpack for sure, dude.
I also like the text that we got from Trevor, who's talking about anybody with like a Grateful Dead sticker on their microbus. And honestly, the microbus in general.
Yeah.
Like... I see one and I'm just like, well, that person's holding. Oh, for sure
absolutely.
they are. I assume it came with the car.
I love this text. It says, best way to spot a stoner is to ask them if they smoke. If they say what, then boom, there's your answer.
Yeah, nobody who smokes cigarettes ever answered that question anything other than yes.
Yeah.
If you have a different answer than yes or no, you smoke weed.
Yeah, if you have to think about it.
If you have to ponder what direction the person was going. Or even if you're like, no.
If you have a lighter on you and you're not using it for smoking cigarettes,
right,
I'm going to assume that you smoke the devil's lettuce.
Well, because what's the only other reason you either smoke cigarettes, smoke drugs, or light barbecues?
You're
like,
a pyromaniac?
Setting off fireworks in the neighborhood?
Yeah. I mean, how many of you have a lighter on you right now? And I feel like it's either because you smoke one or you smoke two.
Yeah.
Or you're up to no good.
That's just it.
What else would you, really need a lighter? What else would you need to carry a Bic for in your pocket on a regular basis?
I knew a guy in high school, in my class, that carried a lighter just in case someone needed one. He was one of those like Boy Scout be prepared types.
Yeah.
And it was simply so that if someone was like, does anyone have a lighter?
That's a good guy to have around, actually.
He was there, but unless he was hiding it.
I mean, maybe if you were like an old school Boy Scout or something, you might just keep one on you or something, I guess.
I guess you mentioned like people hiking in the woods. Maybe you would have a lighter on for like actually starting like a campfire.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. If you have like an RV, maybe you keep a lighter for when you get to the campsite.
Someone said I keep a lighter on me in case I get in a fight. I put it in put it in my hand.
I have heard that.
How often are you getting in fights?
That's the question.
How often are you getting in fights, though?
You're either getting in too many fights or you've got this crazy imagination where you're ready for the fight.
Yeah.
Who are you fighting?
Well, you might as well just carry brass knuckles at that point, dude. Like,
I mean, easier to explain lighter to the cops than brass knuckles.
someone else said I got 10 lighters in my truck for lighting torches at work. I mean, I guess depending on your career and stuff like that, you might need them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know too much about welding, but I feel like, don't they have a specific tool for that? Like, are you really lighting your torch with a Bic you got from the Circle K?
Is there a world of welders that are stealing lighters from each other? Is that like a thing too? Are they just as bad as smokers?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know what I was realizing is as we were talking about lighters, someone texted in saying that they still have like the car lighter in their car.
Dude.
And does that make your car officially vintage if you still have the car lighter in it?
I honestly feel like, yeah, I have owned 3 cars. The oldest one was a 2006. It did not have, they've all had the lighter port.
Mm-hmm.
Not one car I've ever owned myself has had the lighter insert.
It's a shame to know that in the future kids will not know what it's like to have a CD player in the car, have all their CDs in there.
To accidentally burn the upholstery playing with the lighter.
And then, to either burn the upholstery or burn themselves, dude.
Dude, how many people like my age, your age, have little burns on their arm and stuff from just playing with a car cigarette lighter?
Well, I just remember sitting in the car all the time and like you'd press it in and then it would pop out when it was ready, right?
Right.
And my dad went into Home Depot one time and I just like sat there looking at the thing and like it's all hot, right? It's orange at that point.
Glowing, yeah.
And I knew what it did and I just like touched my finger at it. My dad always told me, he's like, don't frig around with that thing.
Sure.
He came out at Home Depot and I had my hands in the snow.
He didn't
Trying to
see
play
it
it
happen.
off cool, yeah.
He didn't see it happen, but he knew.
How many kids actually probably like messed themselves up with that thing?
How
dude?
many grown-ups right now have no feeling in a fingertip because they burned themselves with a car lighter?
Also, I mean, it was like the perfect weapon to have in the car if someone like, I don't know, messed with you. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely, in like high school, saw people who would like pop it in if they thought they were about to get in trouble somehow. And I always thought the same thing. I'm like, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Tell me you went to a sketchy school without telling me you went to a sketchy school, dude. I feel like there's a scene in a movie where someone like uses that on someone or something, isn't there?
I think there's probably a bunch, but I know one of the Deadpool movies definitely had like.
Is it the one where they shove it in the guy's mouth?
And he holds the mouth
Yeah,
shut.
yeah.
Oh God! Oh, just. Ugh.
Kids today will never know, man.
That's probably a good thing.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Loop it, you swoop it, and you pull. Loop it, you swoop it, you pull. Good. All right, let's go.
Apparently, a lot of kids don't know that method right there because we were just talking about how kids don't know how to tie their own shoes. The amount of people texting in saying that their kids don't know how to tie their own shoes is absolutely blowing my mind this morning.
It's because more and more shoes being sold either have the Velcro still at larger sizes than they used to, or we're seeing this in adult and kid shoes. The laces are being replaced by those like stretchy elastics that turn shoes into basically boat shoes, slide-on shoes.
I can't do the Velcro. I can do the slide on.
Yeah.
But if I saw a grown man wearing
down to do
Velcro
the
shoes and
Velcro?
it wasn't for like there wasn't a reason for it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If I walk in here tomorrow and I'm wearing Velcro shoes,
I'm roasting you.
You're having a hard time with that?
I'm roasting you.
On that note, shout out to Chris who texted in. He says, I'm 38 and I can tie my shoes.
Hey, round of applause, dude.
Good job.
Round of applause.
Proud of you, bud.
Now, someone did. They kind of got me here. They texted in 762-555, and they said, realistically, though, when's the last time you actually tied your own shoes? Do you just slip them on every day?
I said it. I specifically buy a brand of shoes with a special heel that can be stepped down.
Yeah.
And stretchy laces. I haven't tied my own shoes in over 3 years.
Now, what they're saying, I think, is actually me, because I've got mine double knotted,
Yeah.
and since I bought these,
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually tied them up.
Unless it's like a work boot or a gym shoe, the majority of people, and I'm just pulling a stat out of my backside, but I feel like most people tie their shoe to a specific comfort, and that's it.
Yeah.
They wear it until the shoe dies or the laces snap. I don't remember the last person I saw actually drop a knee and tie their shoes on their way out the door.
Honestly.
It's all slip-on shoes, boots, or pre-tied laces these days.
This is a really weird conversation.
And if that's what grown-ups are doing, if you as an adult are not tying your laces, then why are we putting pressure on a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old?
Why are we putting pressure?
I'm saying.
Okay, relax.
That's what it is.
The way you worded that was a little dramatic.
That's what I'm saying, though, is you're telling me, we were talking about the skates. You're telling me you bully kids if they've got skates to tie themselves.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing. You're basically being like, you learn to tie or else. And it's like, so what? So that they can grow up and not tie their shoes?
Well, here's the thing. If you don't learn how to tie your shoes, and we're all wearing Velcro shoes, we're getting closer and closer to that weird world in WALL-E where we're just on the ship and we're just cruising around. We're already watching all the shows all the time. We've got all the food at our accessibility and stuff like that.
I'll tell you right now, if we're getting the WALL-E chairs that scoot you around and show you the screens and I don't have to walk anywhere, these dogs are coming out. I'm not wearing any shoes at that point.
I know, because there's too much pressure, apparently.
I'm going to let them breathe.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Top of the morning to you. Today's word is balter. Yeah, balter. B-A-L-T-E-R. Balter. Anyways, it's to move or dance clumsily. Now, that's generally alcohol-induced, I find, at the bar. Anyways, have a great one. Cheers her up.
So either if you're a bad dancer or you're a drunk dancer, you'd be a balter?
I don't even think it has to be dancing. I think it's just being clumsy.
Yeah.
Which, I don't need the alcohol. I'm just a clumsy guy. I'm baltering all over the place.
You're baltering all over the place?
I'm Balter Avenue, brother.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could just start calling like the guy on the job site who always hurts himself Balter.
Oh, dude hits himself with the hammer and the thumb. Baltered it again.
Yeah. It's a real Balter move right there.
What was that movie with the dog and the mountain? Balto? It's that whole movie, but it's just you falling down.
Clutch if you got a dude named Walter that you work with who's clumsy.
Oh, Balter Walter?
Yeah.
If he's just constantly
Walter
making
the
mistakes,
Balter, yeah.
That's perfect.
Balter. Use it wherever you can today.
It's a very specific scenario, but if you pass it up, you're missing out.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.